to essentially escape? Or
Yes,
is it the only way to get a fair settlement?
No, it will take a long time for the LTT to regroup because Prabhakaran has lost a lot of senior fighters. He has also lost arms and armaments, and he will need at least 2 years to rebuild the organization.
Okay. Dr. Maitrian, before I take a break, final thoughts from you. Is that something which concerns you? You're calling for a ceasefire, but you and the AIADMK have been arguing against LTT for a long time. Are you concerned that a ceasefire may actually help the LTT to come back?
We demand immediate ceasefire in Sri Lanka and the rights of the Tamils to be protected. If these moves fail, we will press for Elam. We have been very categorical on this. We have made it in our election manifesto.
Reference has been made to the UN Security Council's informal meeting. They forgot to say that the Security Council asked the LTT to lay down arms and surrender. That is the precondition. That's what will clear the way for a cessation of hostilities. And that's what we should be demanding from India.
Surrender?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not commenting on it. That's a very legitimate demand, or it's not a legitimate demand. I'm not going to comment on it. But if LTT may think that they are the preponderant representatives of the people and they have their freedom to remain there. But my point,
listen, they've murdered most of the other Tamil leaders.
Yes. I'm not apologizing for that. See, my only point I want to insist is don't lend media legitimacy and political legitimacy and journalistic legitimacy to a politico-military junta, the Rajapaksa regime. That's only my request.
Only one point. The word genocide is loosely being bandied about. There is a strict definition about it, ethnic cleansing. If at all there is ethnic cleansing, it was LTT which did it by driving out all the Muslims from the north. And it also massacred lots of civilians. That's one aspect. You can't see a single Burgher or Sinhalese or Muslim in the north of Bovinia. Maybe after the LTT is defeated, they can go back and resettle. On the other hand, the Tamils are everywhere, not only in Sri Lanka but all over the world.
No,
they live in.
The ministers are Tamils.
The ministers are Tamils.
Members of parliament Tamils.
So to call it what is happening is, as Father Gaspar said, it's a politico-military war, and LTT is waging a urban guerrilla war where civilian casualties are inevitable.
Okay, fine.
I'll end up a note. Okay. I'll end up a note.
I have to take a break. I'm sorry we're out of time. I want to give the audience a chance. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back in just a couple of minutes. And also let's try and see there any other electoral issues here in Tamil Nadu. We've just got completely bogged down with this one issue, perhaps because of the headlines that we've been seeing and the pictures we've been seeing. But is this going to actually decide the Tamil Nadu elections? I'm not so sure. We'll find out when we come back after this break. Welcome back to the special edition of The Big Fight, which is coming to you from Chennai. We are here to really figure out what the political issues are in this particular election. But I think the election, perhaps, as this entire debate for sure, has been almost hijacked by the situation in another country, in Sri Lanka, with what has been happening to the LTT. And of course, you've been seeing all those pictures on your screen all day, all week as to what's happening. Now, before I come to the audience, I want to do a very quick, unscientific snap poll among all of you. How many of you think that the issue of Sri Lanka and what is happening with the LTTE is the main issue in this election? How many of you think it's the main issue? Okay. All right. To get a sense, how many of you think there are other more important issues? Okay. Other important. Okay. So I think it's fairly divided, the audience itself. Let me get some sense. What do you think the real issues are then?
Real issues are like we have got power shortage, price rise, and law and order situation. Everything is there. Coupled with the fact is that there is a LTT issue.
Okay, now you people at the back there, I know, have been shouting and saying that the LTT in particular is the key issue. You think it's the main issue? Why?
It is the main issue. When you look into the Sri Lankan issue, you just forget about the LTT, forget about Prabhakaran. So first of all, you have to look into the genocide. What is happening in Sri Lanka is genocide. People are dying every day. Hundreds and thousands of people are dying every day. So my question to Madam Jayanti Natarajan, you are telling what is happening, what's happening in Sri Lanka is genocide. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So my question is, when a particular country is running a genocide against a particular community, so the next country, the country which is next to that particular country, is giving money, giving support.
You have no idea. The parliament, the minister has already explained, no arms are being given, nothing at all. That's also not true.
The Indian cricket team went to Sri Lanka, played a safe game and came back.
The Sri Lankan team went to Pakistan, had a hit and came back. That is the difference between terrorism and freedom fighting. I have a question to Mr. Ram. Though we have got certain differences on your opinion about the Sri Lankan issue, about the right to self-determination by the national races. Though you support Kosovo and Palestine, you don't support the Elam Tamil issue. That's all fine. But as a journalist, as a championing cause of journalism, you have never condemned the killing of Lasantha or any other journalist in Sri Lanka. As a journalist, not as an individual, as a journalist, you have never condemned any killings of journalists in Sri Lanka, including Lasantha.
That is completely untrue, because you don't read our newspaper. Obviously, you just live in your own world. Of course we condemn the assassination, the killing of Lasantha, whatever his views, and this has come out. We have published plenty of things. Every Indian newspaper has condemned it.
Unless we restore the fundamental rights of these Sri Lankan Tamils and resolve the fundamental problems of the Sri Lankan Tamils, the coexistence of these two communities never happen. And as Mr. Swami rightly pointed out, what is important is the unitary constitution of Sri Lanka should be abolished. We got to, the Sri Lankan Tamil should form a federal constitution with more powers to the Sri Lankan Tamils. Unless otherwise, you can't just, and another organization will emerge. Unless we resolve this, another organization will emerge and take forward the Sri Lankan Tamils issue in a better way.
First of all, hang on. Is that something which all of you would agree with? That whatever happens with the LTTE, what India should certainly press for is to make sure that you don't return to the situation as existed before the LTTE rose, when it was almost a Sinhala, chauvinist sort of a situation. Is that something that everyone would presumably agree?
India should press for allowing United Nations agencies, international NGOs,
He's hijacking
to visit and meet the people.
No,
Number one.
India should
one.
press for a constitution in Sri Lanka where there's absolutely no discrimination between Tamils.
Okay, let me get some more voices. You had some views? Lady here.